live side splits training starting right now. There's a little bit of a twist today because my left knee is a little bit irritated, and so I'm going to be a little gentle to it. But we're going to add in a little bit of strength training work to compensate. Let me know if you have any questions along the way, and otherwise, we are going to get started with hip cars. All right. Hip cars are all about getting your hips and legs through their full range of motion using muscle power. CARS stands for controlled, articulated rotation, not the ones that you drive. And what it looks like, if you're going to do them, is we're going to lift the knee as high as possible, right? This is as high as possible you can lift with your own muscle power directly related to that leg. If you want to actually pull it up higher, it's very likely that you can pull it up higher, but you can't get there without additional assistance. All right. This is what we're training for. We're trying to get our muscles to get as strong as possible and help us get to where they need to be. I am seeing some question mark faces from IT, and maybe there's no audio. Let me know if somebody's in the chat and can tell me if you can hear me. I got a thumbs up from IT. IT says we Gucci. All right, let's keep going. Where was I? Hip cars. We start by bringing that knee as high as possible. Then we open up that hip as wide as it can go. Lift the ankle as high as it can go. And then bring that leg down and back, flexing the hamstring and the glutes. Are we having some technical difficulties, perhaps? No, we're going. Okay, cool. Let's go. We're going to do that 10 times. High knee, open up, ankle, down and back. 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 I said we're going to do 10. I'm pretty sure that was like 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. That is it on one side. We're going to mirror on the other side. Let's go. High knee, open up, ankle, down and back. 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 Whew. My left knee, the one that's standing, is the knee that's a little bit irritated and unhappy. So I'm trying to limit the shaking and the movement from the hip cars. All right. That is hip cars on one direction. We're going to reverse them and continue. To do them in reverse, we're using the same exact movements as before. We're doing legs down and back, flexing the hamstrings and the glutes. Then we're going to lift that leg out as if we're going to kick somebody. And then we're going to bring the ankle down, then bring that knee forward, trying to keep the knee as high as possible. And we're trying to lift the leg as high as possible throughout the whole entire series. Let's go. 10 on this side. Sideways, ankle, knee, back. 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 This is all to warm up your hips and get them prepared for the side splits that we will be doing later. And a whole bunch of people just popped in on YouTube, I think. We are doing 30 minutes of live side split stretching with a little bit of a twist today at the end. And we're doing some warm up for getting our hips prepped for that stretching. We do this every single day for about 30 minutes, and we do it to practice consistency and build a little bit of community around our collective goal of getting the side splits. So if that's interesting to you, hit subscribe, follow, and make sure to get notified so you can come back for the next one. All right. What are we doing? We just did the left side. Let's switch to the right side. Same thing. We're doing it in reverse. Leg down and back. Up as if you're going to kick somebody. Rotate so the ankle is down, and then bring that knee up and forward. Let's keep going. We're going to do 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. And that's it for the hip cars. We are all done with those. Let's take a look real quick at the chat. Foxy Roxy says hello, and we have a whole bunch of people popping in down here. Feel free to introduce yourselves. Ooh, ooh, caught that. That was a nice catch. I am gonna give myself some kudos there. Whew. All right, we just wrapped up the first warm-up exercise. I hope your heart rate is up a little bit and you're starting to break a little bit of a sweat. We're gonna get into the second exercise, and that is the elephant walk. So to do elephant walk, we fold into this L shape. If you need to, you can bend your knee just a little bit. If you are a little bit higher up in this L, that is also totally fine. We want to focus on bringing our belly button down as low as it can go. Try your best to straighten one leg and bend the other knee. All right. From here, if you keep on trying to bring that belly button down, you'll start feeling that stretch in the hamstring on both legs. There'll be slightly different feelings because the knee is bent on this one and this one is straight. And I do something called the sassy hip, or I call it a sassy hip, where on the straight leg, I throw that hip out and put all of my weight into that straight leg, sassy hip. All right, from here, take a couple of deep breaths. Try to see if you can get any deeper into this stretch. Really actually take deep breaths. And release. If you've never done that before, you might notice it right now that it actually makes a huge difference to how much of a stretch you can get, especially on that first breath. If you try to do this like 10 times, you probably won't make that much more of a difference. But the second time you do it, might have a huge impact. All right. From here, I want you to try to straighten out that back just a little bit. Grab the leg somewhere between the ankle and the knee, but not on the ankle or the knee. And open up that chest so that you can point the arm up and point to something on the wall behind you. Mark that spot and come back down. We're going to switch to the other side. All right, so if your right leg was straight, now I want you to bend it. If your left leg was bent, I want it to be straight. I want you to do the same thing on this side. Rotate, open, point to a spot that you can reach, and we're going to aim to get further than that next time. In the first 2 reps, we can take them nice and slow because the reality is most people haven't gotten any movement like this at all today, maybe all week. And, oh, man, cracking my back too. The first couple of reps, it's important to take slow to get used to the exercise. By the time we get to the 10th rep, you can do them much faster and you'll be super warmed up. Let's keep going. That's 2, 3, 4. Ooh, I'm seeing huge gains on that thoracic rotation. Don't focus. I know I've been talking about it a lot. So it's totally my fault if you've already been doing this. Don't focus too much on how much you're pointing to the back wall, such that you forget that this is a hamstring stretch. All right? I add a little bit of bonus activity to these basic stretches so that you get more bang for the buck. Right, so for the same amount of time that you're working the hamstring stretch, you also get a little bit of thoracic rotation, get some shoulder mobility, your neck is getting a little bit of work, so that when you're driving, you can look out your rear view, you can check your blind spot a little bit better. But at the end of the day, this stretch is all about the hamstrings and that side glute up here. And if you are all the way up here trying to point to the furthest thing behind you when you can be all the way down here and feeling that hamstring stretch, then I need you to refocus on that hamstring stretch. All right? And if what I introduced with all the pointing and all that stuff is a little too complex, you're not ready for all of that, you go back to basics, keep your low back relatively flat, bring your belly button low, bend one leg, straighten the other, bend one leg, straighten the other. And we've done way more than 10. So I'm going to come in, check the comments real quick. Ooh, there's a bunch of questions, maybe, possibly. What does he do? Kyunder. Sorry, I have to get really close to the camera to really read this. Hyundell, thank you for coming in and sending in the likes. We do 30 minutes of live side split stretching pretty much every single day to build a little bit of consistency with a little bit of community and hopefully get everybody closer to their side split goals. If that's of interest to you, keep on sending the hearts and keep coming back. All right, let's keep going. We just did the second of our warm-up exercises. We're doing the third and final warm-up exercise. It's called the Cossack Switch, and it looks a little bit like this. We're going to drop down to one side, and I'm going to walk you through how to get into that slowly. We want to keep the knee over the toe in general because we don't want instability. In this case, instability would mean your knee is maybe way far out to either side. There are moments in time where you might want to consider training for those angles, but that is not what we're doing today. So don't do that. All right. Try to keep your knees over your toes. And I want you to see if you can drop down to one hip as much as possible. Right now, my toes are probably pointed about 20 degrees out to the side. So it's not super far. You can experiment with 30, 45 degrees as long as you keep your knee in check. And I want you to try and drop as much of your body weight deep into that hip as possible. If you're feeling any pain, pause, take a look at what's going on, and make sure you're not doing anything super crazy. All right. You might notice if you get really deep and you try to get as low to the ground as possible, your ankle will come up, your heel will come up off the ground. That's a sign of two things. One, maybe you don't have enough ankle flexibility. That's totally normal. That happens. A lot of us need to stretch our ankles. The thing you can do to fix that is to just come a little bit out of that deep stretch and just straighten up this bone between your ankle and the knees. All right. Once you do that, you'll notice maybe it's a little bit easier to hang on in this position. You might also notice if you're on your toes, you feel a little bit more wobbly. That's potentially muscle control that needs a little bit of work. But if you put your heel down, you got a little bit of a tripod. Your big toe bone here, your pinky toe bone, and then your heel makes a bit of a tripod, and that will help you stay a little bit stable. Oh man, I've been hanging out in that really deep position for way too long. My quads are on fire. Okay. So last part of the Cossack switch I want you to notice is this leg over here that feels like it's not doing very much. I want you to have the heel down and your toes pointing up, your knees pointing up, your quads pointing up. And this is important because this is leg external rotation and we're going to need it a little bit later when we do the side splits. Okay. From here, we're still doing Cossack switches. What makes a Cossack switch is when we transfer our weight to the other side. We try to keep our hips as low to the ground as possible and mirror on this side. I'm out of camera shot for a little bit of this, but same thing. We want the toes pointing up, heels down, knees up, quads up, resting a lot of the weight into the hip, knees over the toes, and you can experiment with the angle that you hang out at. If you watch a lot of fitness content, you might notice some really, really cool people can come all the way down and almost sit on the floor and then come back up and they're super strong. That is like future training. Once you get this skill and you develop a little bit more, you can take it there. All right. Cossack switches. If you are here and you're not sure how you're going to be able to get over to the other side, you got a lot of options. You can stand up like you would in a squat and then just come back down onto one side. If you are feeling not that weak but not that strong, you can try somewhere in the middle. And if you're feeling really, really, really strong, you can try to keep your hips as low as possible and go from side to side. We're only doing 5 of these. And realistically, I think I'm way more than done. But I want to make sure you guys get some time to experiment and figure out what works for you. All right. Those are our 3 warm-up exercises. I'm going to hop on over because I see a lot of activity. Lots of liking of the live. I appreciate it. There's so much liking of the live. I can't tell if there's any comments. So I'm going to scroll real quick. Everything looks fine. So let's keep going. Let's get into the actual stretches that we're going to be doing for our side split workshop. The first one that I do, the first one I like to do, is a hamstring stretch. This variation of the hamstring stretch I like to do because I think it's really good for beginners who have tight hamstrings. All right. So the way I like to set this up is we'll stand up straight, then we'll take a step forward with the leg we want to stretch. It's decently big step. It's not super big. And from here, I want you to stick your butt out behind you, like so. Try to keep your upper back down to the hips, nice and flat. I'm going to scoot back into camera. And from here, you'll see that you've hit this really nice angle in your stretch, right? Your hamstrings are much closer, or at least mine are less than 90 degrees. If I were seated on the ground, I have to work really hard to get below 90 degrees and actually feel a stretch. But from here, because we have gravity helping to pull our chest down, our whole upper body down, gravity is doing all the work, and I'm really feeling the stretch in my hamstring. All right, so I want you to get into this position. If you feel like you're off balance, you're wobbly, and you're not comfortable, you can pause and stop. I'll show you a different variation that might be a little bit easier. Or you can grab a stool, grab a chair, grab something to give yourself a little bit more stability. All right, another variation that you can try if you're feeling a little bit unsafe is you can get down on one knee in this back leg and get back into a very similar position. All right. In fact, we'll just stay in this variation because it's basically the same. All right. From here, I want you to really focus on sticking your hips out. Like the peak of your butt, I want you to point as far back as possible. All right. From here, you should feel an even more intense stretch if you just focus on sticking your butt further out. And that's because we're getting the pelvis, the hip, to tip a little bit forward, and that tipping means the bottom of the hip is pointing further back and it's stretching out the muscle in the hamstring even further. All right, from here, we're just going to focus on our belly buttons and trying to bring our belly buttons down as low to the ground as we can. All right, take a couple of deep breaths, and we're going to do this for 30 seconds and apply steady pressure. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Whew. All right. If you've never done a hamstring stretch quite like that, let me know if that was an intense hamstring stretch for you. I have found that that is the most intense variation of the hamstring stretch that's easy to get into that I've ever experienced. So hopefully this is a useful one for you. All right, we're going to switch over to the other side. Same thing, take a step forward with the leg we want to stretch. Throw the hips back behind us, sort of point the bottom of that hip bone, the pelvis, back here, and bring your belly button down to the thigh. I'm going to do this variation kind of standing, kind of squatting, and you'll just see the difference. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh man, all right, come on up out of that hamstring stretch. That is definitely a tough way to start the stretches, but we're going to go to our second stretch. It's a little bit easier. We get to sit on the ground. The second stretch that we're going to do is a butterfly, and I recommend you use a wall or something really sturdy and flat behind you. The reason for that is because I want you to rest your butt and your shoulders and your head against the wall. All right, so my hips, shoulders, head against the wall. That'll help us keep our posture nice and straight and keep us from worrying too much about it, so we can focus our attention on the hips because this is a hip stretch. Grab your feet, pull them into you, and you'll notice your knees probably popped right up. That's totally normal. I want you to focus on using your hip muscles, your glutes, and your side outer thighs to pull the knees down. All right, let's go. Pull, 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 pull. We want to imagine opening up the groin, and my knees have come down a couple inches already. Next up, I want you to take your hands, apply a little bit of pressure, and continue to flex the glutes, the side of the outer thighs, and work on combining your muscle power plus your hands to get into a deeper stretch. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Don't relax. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, that's it. Relax your hands. Your hips might pop up. Relax those muscles. Stop flexing. Straighten the legs. Move them around a little bit. Shake them out. And get some more blood flowing into those hips. You should really have felt a stretch, potentially in the hip flexor over here, in the groin, as well as possibly in the adductor, depending on how tight you are and how tight your different muscles are. But we are done with that stretch, and guess what? That was kind of the easier one. We're gonna go a little bit harder from here. Let's see. I'm gonna check the chat real quick. Travel with Roxy has liked the live a lot of times, so that's awesome. Thank you so much. Let's continue. The next stretch we're going to do is called the pancake. And a pancake, if can you see this? If this hand is the upper body of the pancake, and this hand is the bottom lower body of the pancake looks like this. We're trying to fold flat, and that is freaking hard. Okay, you need a lot of flexibility to do that. I cannot do that, just like most of the world. So we're gonna get into a variation that helps you get into a gravity supported position so that you can practice the stretches that will help lead to that. All right, what we're going to do is called the standing pancake, and we're going to slowly let our legs open nice and wide. Pause when you feel like there's any discomfort. If there's discomfort, just pop back up a little bit and fold at the hips. All right, most of the time, folding at the hips will also alleviate the pain that you were about to just have with your legs. But so you can decide if you want to try and go a little bit deeper or not. All right, from here, same as how we're doing the hamstring stretch. Your upper body is being pulled down by gravity, and it's helping you fold forward. You should feel the stretch in your hamstrings. You should feel a stretch in your adductors, which is the inner thighs. And we're going to do either of two things. We're going to stick our butt out, hands forward to help gravity bring us further down into the stretch, or we can grab our legs and pull ourselves down deeper into the stretch. Whatever you decide to do, get into position and try to keep that lower back relatively straight. All right, let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Whew. All right, come on out of that stretch. If you did that right, you should feel nice deep stretch right underneath the glute and the hamstrings, but like actually right underneath the glute and possibly in the glutes themselves. Should have felt a nice stretch in the adductors on the inner thighs, and those are all normal things. Pancakes are just intense stretches that require a lot of flexibility from a lot of different muscles. I'm going to double check some comments, and it looks like we are good. Kindle's back, and live is going well. All right, let's keep going. We just did the third of our 5 stretches. The fourth stretch is called Pigeon or figure 4, depending on which variation we're going to do. And it looks a little bit like this. If we're standing, it's going to look like bring the ankle up to the opposite hip and trying to, with a straight back, bring our chest down to that leg. All right, we're going to do a variation on our backs today, which is frequently called a figure 4 stretch. So we get onto our backs. We cross the leg we want to stretch over onto the top of the other knee, and we're going to pull on that leg and bring everything in. All right. You can alternatively choose to grab the leg and pull it in with some other muscles, but I want you to experiment with both because it can feel very different just depending on the angle at which you're holding your leg. And it's much easier to pull the knee and control where the ankle is than it is to control both the knee and the ankle with lots of different hands. All right. Oh, okay. That was a lot of explanation. Let's go. Ankle over knee, pull it in. You should feel the stretch in your outer hip, maybe on the inner thigh, hamstring. Let's go. Hold this for 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. It's very tempting to take a nap here while you're laying down, but I encourage you to keep pulling and applying steady pressure to the legs. Really feel that hip stretch. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, we'll switch to the other side and continue. Take that leg we want to stretch, cross it over to the opposite knee, pull, reach through the leg and pull on that knee. Feel the stretch in your hips. I feel it right here underneath my glute. And steady pressure, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Whew. All right, we are done with 4 of the 5 stretches that we're going to do. We're moving on to the side splits. All right. For this stretch, I'm going to warn you guys that my left knee is a little bit achy today. So I'm going to take it a little bit more chill. I'm going to demonstrate, I'm going to teach, I'm going to talk about how to set it up properly. And then I may or may not be a little bit more gentle with the stretch. And we'll see as we go. All right. So we're getting to the side splits. The way I want you to think about getting to the side splits, especially if you're brand new to this, is finding a wall. This wall is going to be your best friend. What I want you to do is stand about 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall. That's 20 to 30 centimeters for pretty much the whole world. So 20 to 30 centimeters away from the wall. Now, next up, I want you to stick your butt onto the wall. What we have is a tripod. 1 foot equals 2 tripod legs, and your butt is the 3rd tripod. All right. From here, I want you to open up your legs nice and wide and slowly let your butt fall and slide, I guess, down the wall. All right. Once you are in a position where it's not so comfortable and you're ready to get into a more comfortable position, I want you to fold at the hips and get into a push-up position. All right. Your legs are still 20, 30 centimeters away from the wall, 8 to 12 inches away from the wall, but your hands are down on the ground. Once you're in this position, it will be much more comfortable on your hips because most of your weight is in your hands. From here, I want you to do something called external leg rotation. What that looks like is if your toes were pointing forward, I want you to rotate your legs so that your heels are on the ground, your toes are pointing up, your knee is pointing up, and your quads are pointing up. From here, you will feel a lot of pressure in the heels. So if you need to stop right now and go grab some cushions or grab a flippy floppy sandals, sneakers, go ahead and do that. If you don't and you're ready to continue, then I want you to slowly walk your hands back closer and closer and closer to your hips. And if you can get all the way to the point where your hands are underneath your legs, incredible, awesome. Do that. And be aware that you have a wall right behind you. So if you walk too far back and you're falling backwards, your butt will hit the wall and you'll be caught. You'll be safe. All right. Now that we feel safe because we can't fall and we are in a deep stretched position, I will like to start our 30 seconds of stretching. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, that's it. Walk your hands forward in that push-up position. Bring your legs together, and let's come together and shake those legs out. That was very intense stretch, and if it's your first time getting into anything remotely similar, it's probably really hard. So shake those legs out, take a quick rest, and we're going to get back into another round in a couple of seconds. I'm going to come in and pop into the chat real quick to see where we are at. Travel with Roxy, thank you for the best wishes to my knee health. I hope my knee feels better too. Liverpool Snicka Panda, it's so good to see you back. It's okay. You are on vacation. That is exactly the reason why we train. We train the rest of our lives so we can enjoy our vacations and our time off. Okay, I am totally 100% okay with you taking a break. All right, I believe we have taken a couple seconds off. So let's get back into the side splits. Same thing as before. I want you to get your butt nice and close to the wall, 8 to 12 inches away, so that if you fall backwards, the wall will catch you. All right. Now let's spread open those legs, slowly drop down into a side split-ish position. And as soon as it's no longer comfortable, fold forward and catch yourself with some push-up position in the hands. All right, from here, externally rotate the legs so that your heels are on the ground, your toes are pointing up, your knee is pointing up, your quads are pointing up. And slowly walk your hands back so that more weight is on your hips. All right, the more weight that is on your hips, the more stress your muscles will feel, and the deeper you could potentially fall into a side split. I'm going to walk my hands back, all the way back until my hands are by my legs. And I'm going to do a little wiggle from side to side to see if I get deeper into the stretch because, friction from the floor and my sticky feet is what's keeping me from getting lower. And then it's time to do our 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, crawl forward. Come on out of that stretch. Oh. Bring the legs together and let's take a quick rest. I like to do a little bit of jogging in place, some hula hooping, imaginary hula hooping, to get those different muscles in the hip that were experiencing a lot of stress doing that side split stretch to relax. And I'm going to come over to check the chat. Oh, we got a whole bunch of people on. How many more? We have one last side split stretch, and then we will be done for today. I Heart Quackity, thank you for liking the live. I appreciate it. All right. Before we finish, I want to remind everybody, especially everybody who's brand new and just joined in, we do this for 30 minutes every single day. We practice the side splits for 30 minutes every single day to build consistency, to show up and give you a little bit of support when we are practicing, and to build a little community around our goals, in this case, the side splits, so that you can make a little bit of daily progress towards your side splits. If that is of interest to you and you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe or follow or whatever it is on whatever platform that you are on, and get notified so you can come back when we go live again tomorrow and the day after and every other day after that. All right, let's do our final side split and get ready to go do the rest of our lives and have fun. Okay. Same thing. Rest your butt against the wall. Stand about 8 to 12 inches, 20 to 30 centimeters away from the wall. Slowly let the legs open beneath you. And when it is no longer comfortable getting any wider into this position, I want you to fold forward at the hips and get into a push-up position. All right. From here, I want you to externally rotate the legs. What that means is your heels are down, your toes are up, your knees and quads are pointing up on both legs. And you'll start feeling that really intense stretch in your hips. Maybe you'll notice you suddenly got way deeper into a stretch. I want you to slowly walk your hands back, as far back as you can. If you are in a good stretch, you don't need to go any deeper. You can't go any deeper, then stop. No need to push yourself. If you are feeling like maybe you can challenge yourself, feel free to keep walking those hands back until as much of your weight is in your hips or right above your hips as you can get, and take a couple of deep breaths because we're getting into it. If you are doing this right, there should be a wall right behind you. Maybe your butt's already touching it. You can't fall backwards, and you can catch yourself if you fall forwards. All right, so you should feel safe about this position, which is really important for relaxing your muscles to get into a deeper stretch. And I've been talking a long time, so let's just count our 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, lean forward, get back into that push-up position, crawl forward, crawl out of that side split, and take a nice break. I'm going to just hang out here in this kneeling position because my legs are on fire and they're super tired. Take and use all of my willpower to crawl closer to the phone so I can double check the comments and wrap up for this last moment. Whew. Okay. Liverpool, thank you so much for coming back and checking back in. I appreciate it. We are all done. We are all wrapped up. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to the live, practicing consistency and building this little community of people. If you have never introduced yourself, please throw a comment into the chat so that I know who you are, so I know if you keep coming back and if we have a little bit more community built up because we have regulars, right? I can't tell if you don't comment. So that's it. Thank you so much for coming. I plan to be here every single day for forever, pretty much at this moment. I reserve the right to change my opinion. I'll see you guys tomorrow or the day after. Hit subscribe if you haven't. Get notified to come back, and goodbye.